let me just break it down like this. Like 1 month I'm back home in Purmerend next to Amsterdam, living a modest life, just doing regular stuff, going to school.
Yeah.
And then a month later I'm flying jets in the US.
BeatStars, the foundation, the precedence. We flying flags in every city, global residence. And we killing off the masters. Ghetto slave driving bastards. We making hits faster than you could think. We're on the brink of revolution. All my indie music makers, here's your restitution. We got the game in a chokehold. Not paying the creators is a no-no. I got the smoke road for all the fam bam.
What's up, BeatStars fam? It's BATSHON, and we're back for another legendary Pay the Creators podcast episode. To be honest, I got to apologize because this one is way long overdue. This man has been a part of something that has never been done in the history of the internet or the music industry as a whole. On a global scale, he has inspired a whole generation of young music producers to dream far beyond their imaginations. BeatStars was lucky to have a front row seat at this movie while it was being made, and we couldn't be more grateful to be a part of this story. I'm talking about none other than the creator of the most streamed song in music history. 17 times platinum selling music producer and entrepreneur, my guy, YoungKio. Welcome to the podcast, bro.
Thank you for having me, Abe.
Of course, man.
Pleasure to be here. Long overdue, you know.
Long overdue.
It's long overdue. You know, it's been a minute, so yeah.
Well, appreciate you coming, man. Appreciate you sitting down with us, talking with us. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. I envisioned it. I dreamed about it. I was like, man, one of these days I'm gonna sit down with Kio. We're gonna talk about this song. We connected just around the time where everything was going crazy. During Old Town Road, and it just seems like a blur still. It feels like a blur because I don't know how. What about you? Like, what is it?
I mean, you know, it's so crazy if you think about it, but you know, I honestly don't want to think about it too much because it's just so crazy. You know, I'm just moving forward. But, you know, it's like it also all went so fast. You know, it's been like 5 years already. So it feels like it was yesterday almost.
Amazing.
You know what I mean? So
amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man. So you're from the Netherlands.
Yes.
And I'd love for you to kind of like just give the people a little bit of a little backstory on, you know, you coming up, growing up, where you're from, how you got into music, you know, what was the first spark of inspiration to get you to start making beats? Like, give us a little bit the beginning story.
Yeah, sure. Nah, I'm from Purmerend actually, so it's like 10, 15 minutes from Amsterdam. I basically always tell everybody like, yeah, I'm from Amsterdam, just to eat, just so they immediately know what's up. I don't have to talk too much, but I'm actually from Purmerend, born and raised there. And, you know, I was living a very modest, regular life, you know, school, everything, just finishing everything. And, you know, I used to be a pretty serious athlete as well. That was really my passion, and that's what me and my dad, because my dad was my coach.
What kind of what sport
it was
were you in?
literally track. So
track.
like sprinting, hurdles, like just the whole track, everything. So, you know, like just like taking it real serious, like doing national championships, like actually like really, you know, thinking maybe this might be the future of what I want to do. So I was doing that, and then I realized, me personally, that like when it comes to stuff like that, like people are just going to have an advantage over you just by genetics. You know, some people are just going to be strong. You can train as hard as you want,
For sure.
but it's you know, you will always have the genetically superior almost. Like that's how what I was really struggling with. So I was still doing it, you know, all the time. And then what happened was, this was when I was really young. I would say like 12, 13. I got my first laptop. And what I was doing is, you know, I was too young to work because at that age, you're not allowed to work in my country. I don't know how it is over here. But what I was doing is I got into Photoshop like very early on. And for some reason, I loved just playing with it, messing around with it. And
was this kind of after you kind of transitioned out of like taking sports full?
No. I was still doing that. I was just
okay.
doing it like
Right.
simultaneously.
Okay.
So, I was just messing with Photoshop, this and that, and then I got really like skilled at it quick because like for some reason I was good with computers. Like I could really understand how everything works. So I would say I mastered Photoshop very early on, and then I looked at it like, okay, what can I do with it? So what I was doing, I was very young. Like I said, I was probably like 13 years old. And I was selling like backgrounds and designs for like YouTubers and stuff like that, you know.
Oh,
and this was like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So like I was selling it for like $10 or whatever,
Yeah,
but it was so much to me because like I was so young.
There was a moment where like the hip hop graphic designers were like hustling on the internet,
man.
You know?
That was like a big thing, and back then, and a lot of people were doing it. So it was like I was just doing it, and I don't know what I did. I think I was promoting it on Twitter back then or something, but it was working. I was making a few sales, and $20 back then to me was like so much. I was just so happy and stuff. Yeah. So I was already pretty good with computers, and I was doing this for like a few years. And then in 2016, when I was around 16, because I'm the age, whatever year it is, that's the age I am. So in 2016, one of my close friends, he actually stumbled upon FL Studio, and he basically just gave it to me and was on some like, oh, like I know you're good with computers, because he knew about my designing stuff, and he was like, just try it out. And I started messing with it, and I literally, since that day, I have never let it go, literally.
And that was like 2016?
That was 2016, and that's when I started.
And you were kind of like, what, 16, 15
Yeah,
years
16,
old?
so I also had a job then. That was my first job at like a grocery store. And, you know, I was just making beats for like a while, just messing with it,
Were you still running track at this time in high school? You were still running track?
Yeah. I only stopped doing that. It's like kind of when I moved to the U.S., you know? So, but around that time I was still doing it.
I'm just curious. Let's go back to that a little bit, because I've talked to a bunch of producers, and a lot of them have a very similar story when it comes to like sports. It's like they get into competitive sports really young, and it translates into other things usually. So I'm just curious, like with your dad being your coach and pushing you probably,
yeah, definitely,
and being like, I'm assuming like, you know, he's wanting you to win these meets, and like you're like we need you to get ready to be out there. Do you feel like at a young age being pushed that way and being disciplined and putting in the work, the practice and the competition part of it, do you feel like any of that experiences like you took with you along the way with the music industry and or selling beats, or just any other business ventures that you've gone into? Like, you feel like that experience, the ups and downs of sport, translated and helped you with everything you're doing today, you feel like?
Yeah, definitely. It's really like, for me personally, really the competitiveness, because I like, you know, I was training hard, but I was at a point where I was either winning or a second place, or like a third close to second, that type of stuff. So it was always like almost a fight for the top, you know? So it was very competitive. And I think that kind of translated back on like everything I've done since then. Is like I have that real competitiveness that I do want to be the best. I do want to be on top. I wanted it, you know? And like it's going to be a lot of work, but it's just, I don't know. It's just that competitiveness in me. Like,
was there any moments that you could remember, like any like headbutting with your dad in a way, struggling, like, Dad, I want to give up. I don't want to do this no more. Like, did you ever go through any moments where you're like, damn, I kind of don't want to do this no more, Dad?
I mean, not really, honestly, no, because like we worked hard, and you know, at the beginning it was kind of like, okay, you know, he had to really like, not like really push me, but he had to like make sure, because otherwise it would not get done. It wouldn't. I wouldn't do that out of myself. Like, he would like kind of stimulate me to do it at the beginning. But when I started getting good, it was kind of like almost the dopamine of winning that just kept me like, okay, you know, I'm in here, like. You know, like, and it was amazing. I loved it, you know, like going home with medals and trophies and all that, like the accolades, you know. So, not really. I wouldn't really feel that
so you
push.
kept going with it, no matter what.
Yeah. It was
even through the challenges.
I loved it. I loved it. It was really fun, you know. Yeah. So, yeah.
You said you were just like 15 minutes away from Amsterdam. Amsterdam is a very interesting city, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's an amazing city.
Yeah.
It is crazy. Everything goes.
Yeah.
Everything goes. No
Yeah.
rules, you
No
know?
rules,
And
no.
for a lot of people, you know, that could be toxic.
True.
That
yeah.
could be toxic. But the music scene there never really like translated outside of maybe house music or EDM music, right?
Yeah.
But what did the music industry growing up there like do for you? Was there any artist or DJs or producers or anyone from the local area that you kind of like looked at too as an example of success?
I mean, me personally, like I was never really that into Dutch hip hop because like back, like when I was young, like I was mostly listening to hip hop because my parents were listening to hip hop too. You know, they had like CDs of 50 Cent and like the OGs. You know, so.
Come on, don't. So you're making me feel old.
Nah,
The OG,
I mean, to me,
50
you know,
Cent's the OG.
yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
But
No,
nah,
it's
they were
true. It's true.
they were listening to that, so that's how I got introduced to hip hop. And then when I started really to like finding my own music, it was all like US music. So like I never really looked at the Dutch industry in any way as like it's kind of like I really just didn't look at it at all. It was always looking at the US. you know?
Yeah. No, for sure. Dope.
Yeah.
And that's what the internet does.
Yeah.
You know, that's like what the internet does. It's like, okay, I can not choose to be immersed in my local music scene. I can find my own sound and my own taste for music on the internet. And so you're, and then with your parents exposing you to legends like 50 Cent and just hip hop in general, that's dope. That's amazing. So you were into like a lot of the aggressive hip hop back then?
Yeah, it was not. It had like the CD. I remember like it was this CD of like I guess like 20 tracks. Yeah. And it was one of those burned CDs, just on Nutter I got an official one, one of those like pirate CDs or whatever. It was like 50 Cent, The Game, Busta Rhymes, all that. But there were like songs on there that I still think are really good, that I love still to this day.
For sure.
Just because I grew up like listening to them in the car. You know, so.
You know, you jumped into a field where not many people jump into, especially being from the Netherlands. Is a really small country when you really think about it, you know, but to do it consistently and really have the determination to kind of like learn the software like FL Studio at a young age and dive into it, you know, what would you say to a producer that's just picking up FL, you know, thinking instant success with like learning how to make beats? How long did it take for you to really like adopt that software and find your passion for like just creating music and then believing in yourself on the output of the music where you felt like, oh, okay, this is something I can put on the internet and people would want to listen to?
I mean, for me, it was like, I would say a few months. Just because like I also really encourage, like if you're just starting with FL Studio or with any DAW or whatever, like please, like, you know, go to YouTube, watch tutorials, like just educate yourself. Like there's a billion tutorials out there. You can basically learn anything.
For sure.
That's really how I did it too. Like I'm gonna be real, like I was watching tutorials and it was like even the small things, like how to cut or slice a loop or whatever. Like if I didn't know how to do it, I would just quickly Google it. Then they'll give me a shortcut as an answer, and then okay, I'll remember that. Like just learning on the go and remembering, and that made me like understand the program really quickly, you know. So for me, it was a few months until I really like understood the program, but like the sound wasn't really there yet. So it was maybe, I would say 6 months until I really was like, okay, let me start uploading beats.
Yeah.
And
so 6 months after really learning before you started putting stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
And what was like the first reaction, like for some of the first stuff you put up on YouTube or BeatStars?
I'm gonna be real. I would say like the 7th beat I uploaded was already somebody wanted to buy it exclusive. You know what I'm saying? Like back, this was like 2016, so it was a little different back then, you know. But that was just crazy to me because, like I said, like I was working my ass off on these backgrounds for 10 hours, and I'll get $10 for it, you know, and then. Boom, I'll make a beat, and I mean, you know, back then it was an hour, and then boom, somebody wants to buy exclusive, give me like, what was it, like $200? I was like, whoa, like $200? That's a lot, you know, for that age. For me, it was a lot. So, you know, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Like, when did you feel like, okay, I got something here?
It was like, it wasn't really consistent though. So like I would still upload beats, like here and there, because it started with just email, you know, like doing business through the email, whatever. But it was really not consistent. It was like I'll get one sale and then no sale for like a while and stuff. But what sparked it for me was so as I recall, it's like I realized what BeatStars was, and in my head it was okay. I need the yearly subscription. It was like I don't know, $180, $180, and I was always like, okay, I need to get money so I can pay the $180, and all I need to do is make $180 in a year so I can do another year. That was the only goal. Like I didn't even goal. I didn't even care about the money because it was fun. You know, I just wanted to keep the subscription.
Yeah.
And then when I got the subscription and I started just uploading with the site, you know, sales were started to be, you know, they were low at the beginning, $90 first month, and then but slowly it picked up though.
Yeah.
And you know, months later, I remember I hit a month that was $700 in sales. And you know, while I was still doing I was still working at the grocery store at the time.
Yeah.
And then when I hit that 700 in that month, I was like, okay, I'm making more than I'm making working, and I was like, I'm gonna quit my job and do this fully. And from there on, I just put all my time into working on music, and then just been going up ever since, you know?
Yeah.
So,
you know, we were talking earlier, and you said, you know, you had a plan B for yourself if this like production stuff was not going to work out.
Yeah.
A lot of competitive people that really are driven about a certain thing, a certain goal that they want to achieve, they usually don't have a plan B.
Yeah.
So what were you safeguard, like what were you trying to like set an expectation for yourself? So it was like, was it because you're like, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, were you just not putting that kind of pressure on yourself to make the beat selling stuff work? Or
I mean, for real, like, you know, all these people always say like, oh, like if you have a plan B, plan A was never going to work out, or like they'll encourage you to just have a plan A and just go for all that. But me, the type of person I am, it might just be my anxiety or something, but I always feel like you should have a plan B, C, whatever, if in case it doesn't work out, and not in a way that like, okay, you're predicting it's not going to work out. It's just like to almost have like a net to catch you if something were to go wrong. So I already had all this like designer experience, Photoshop, whatever. Like, you know, I started when I was 13. So when I was 16, 17, I already had 4 years of full experience in design programs. So I actually went to college for that too. And this was while I was making good money with selling beats, just because like I always it was also, you know, like designing and making beats. It's like it goes hand in hand. Like, you know, you can design your YouTube videos or whatever, like it needs design as well. So it's like these industries really go well with each other. So I went to college for what was it, like multimedia design, app design, whatever. And in my head, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna I'll make beats, and then maybe work with a company on app design or something like that. That was always the plan, you know, and then just kind of like juggle it. You know what I mean? That was really what I was thinking.
You know, from the outside looking in, you know, probably because people know you for Old Town Road.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, I put 2 and 2 together, YoungKio, Old Town Road. But what a lot of people don't know is like you were actually like really successful selling beats before Old Town Road ever happened. You were making thousands and thousands of dollars every month selling beats. Yeah. Like you were already doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
But like no one has that context. Yeah. You know? Because I remember hearing your beats before Old Town Road and seeing you on the BeatStars charts and seeing it was weird because I remember it was like all happening within that same year. Like the growth was a really fast come up on BeatStars. Like you were starting to like you said, it was like $500, $700, $600, and then started hitting thousands. And
it went up quick.
I was like, whoa, who is this YoungKio? And I remember Mike Trampy also reposting some of your beats, and I was like checking them out, and I'm like, yeah. And then when Old Town Road, and then we heard your name, we're like, what? What? We already know YoungKio. Like he's already successful. His beats were already amazing. You know?
Yeah.
And artists were already buying them and people were already collaborating with you.
Yeah.
And you had customers and you were creating this like this sound. We're gonna play a couple of your old beats. I'm gonna pull up a couple of the old ones. Well, some of the top selling ones that you had from back in the day.
Okay.
Because they were dope. And that was like a moment in time that you had a, you know, like this sound on BeatStars that not a lot of people really had at that time, man. And so if you could put yourself back in time prior to all the major like success, you know, what do you think was the most unique factor for you when you started like really posting your stuff? What do you think differentiated your music on the platform than everyone else's shit?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Because it stood out.
Yeah, I mean, well, for a lot of beats, this was like a little later in. But for a lot of beats, I would like the sample beats, because I was doing like, I would say like sample beats, and then I would make beats that I would make from scratch, and those were like more the melodic ones. But this for the sample beats, like I would really just find anything to sample, and literally like it would be like 10 samples. Mm-hmm. This one is a perfect sample for like, I don't know, Kanye's beat, or just like a perfect sample in general to make a beat out of. And I would skip that one and I would pick the sample that nobody would pick, you know, like the one that's like, you need to work 2 hours on it for it to sound good. Like something, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
so
right.
I was really like also doing that to like train myself almost to like, you know, okay, we have this and we need to turn it into that. Like, how are we going to do it? So for the sample beats, that was really what I feel made me different, because I was just sampling stuff that I don't think anybody would think to sample. That was one. And then for the melodic beats, I don't know. I just think I had like a good drum bounce, and just, you know, the twist I had was
drums,
just...
Your drums always stood out.
Yeah.
Drums always stood out.
I guess that was what really sold it on that end.
Yeah.
And I was also very consistent too. I was uploading every day. I would not skip a day, skip a single day. Every day.
You were not sleeping.
Nah, no.
But that work ethic had to come from somewhere, though. You know, that's like, you know, the sport background and just you know,
definitely
being consistent. Mm-hmm. You know, you wanted it though.
I did, because I realized like there is a big, because like, you know, when you're making like $700 a month, like that is a lot of money. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's not on a level yet that like, okay, this is my job. You know, this is my full-time job. Right. So I knew that was there. And then even beyond full-time job, there's like making a bunch of money, you know? And that was always like in the air, you know? And I was like, okay, it's possible. Right. I could see with the growth and how the music industry went. Oh, yeah. I could see it was possible. So I really just went for it, you know?
I mean, if you kept going another year of uploading every single day, say, not saying, you know, Old Town Road was a bad thing in your life. Of course not. It was a blessing, the biggest blessing ever. Yeah. But if it didn't happen, you were on a trajectory to like really dominating on the platform. Like you were really about to start going in a whole different direction. But things happen. Yeah. Life happens. True. Opportunities happen, and you got thrown in this hurricane.
Yeah,
you got thrown in this hurricane, dude.
Yeah, that was like, bro. Yeah,
uploading beats online in your bedroom, and then you get thrown into this hurricane where this song starts buzzing on SoundCloud. Really, it was right. It was. I remember it was like SoundCloud
was on
at first.
SoundCloud only. Yeah,
it was on SoundCloud only, and it was going viral. And I just like, where was your brain through all of this? Because right at that moment, you're like, wait, I'm uploading consistently every day. I got my own business. Like, to switch your mindset, and you're this young guy. How old were you at the time? 18, 19?
18. I was 18.
18
I
years
remember,
old,
yeah,
right?
18.
You're like 18 years old. Mm-hmm. And you had to shift, kind of like focus a little bit. I'm sure you were getting bombarded with people calling you, emails.
Yeah.
Sign here, do this. Oh, yeah. Fuck with me here. Like,
a lot of bad people too, by the way. A lot of snakes, and a lot of people trying to take advantage of me, who was young and unknowing, and I like looking back then I was just like whatever. But looking back at it now, it's just kind of like, damn, like there's really these people out there like trying to finesse you out of publishing when you're like a young kid, even knowing that you don't know what's going on. It's just like, wow, like it's just so crazy to me. But yeah, the switch, I mean, I remember
like overnight.
overnight. Yeah, no, I mean,
You know?
so what happened really was with the song, it started, he made the song, obviously, and he put it on SoundCloud, and then he had like 1,000 followers when that happened. And I was in a group chat with some producers, you know, just like collaborating and stuff. And I had my tag on the beat. So what happened was this was like before TikTok was a thing. I think it was like Musically or Triller
Right,
or whatever,
Musical.ly.
one of those. And then he made like a dance to it with my tag in it, like when the drop happened. So one of the producers in that chat like actually sent me the video, and he was like, "Yo, this is your tag. Like, check it out." That was all he sent. So I checked it out. I heard it, and I was like, "Oh, that was a pretty odd beat for just to buy in general, because it was just like kind of me doing a lot of random stuff."
Yeah.
So I found his Instagram. He had like 1,000 followers, like I said. So I DM'd him, and I was like, "Yo, I fuck with the song. Send me the cover art so I can post it." That was all, you know. And that's how we didn't even have no connection, nothing. He just bought the beat like a regular customer.
Yeah.
And then, he sent me the cover or whatever, and then I posted it. And it started low-key going up on SoundCloud because he had like a meme page that he was running. Like memes were like big back then, just like memes, videos, whatever.
Yeah.
So he was like, every meme he would make, he would just put the song in the background, you know? And then I remember one time on Twitter, he did like I think it was a meme of like a dude riding a horse and then the horse doing a backflip and getting crushed. Or
remember.
some shit like that, you know? And the song was in the background, and that blew up on Twitter. Had like 700K likes on Twitter.
On Twitter.
All the comments were like, "What's the song? What's the song?" And that's like people.
That really. That
meme really like started really like
remember.
having people like, "Yo, what is going on?" So, yeah, man, it started going up on SoundCloud, and it hit like top of the SoundCloud charts, you know. And I was like, "Damn, like this is good for me, you know, just for me as like, you know,
exposure,
good exposure." Yeah, that's what I thought. My name was in the title, produced by me,
and the tag was like. Dude, your tag is so like. Who made your tag?
Bro, I just bought that from like a website ages ago.
Yeah,
ages ago.
Because it's part of the song. Like people, I remember like my kids singing to the tag.
That's
you know
crazy.
What I mean?
That's
you
crazy.
Know?
Yeah, I never knew that. But that's nuts.
Okay, so the meme happens.
Yeah,
it's on SoundCloud. It's blowing up. It's like 24 hours, 48 hours. Everyone's watching it, just like go. It's not on Spotify yet.
No.
It's not signed to no label yet. And everyone's just like, what the fuck is this? What is this moment? Like, we couldn't understand it. You know?
And it was also a chain effect because, like, there were other meme pages that started making memes with the song, too. Because they were seeing, like, oh, this is a good song to put under your... You know what I'm saying? So...
That's true. I remember that, too.
Yeah, then it just started popping off. And then at one point, he was like, okay, we're going to put it on Spotify or whatever. And we just put it on Spotify on streaming.
Yeah,
like no clearance, nothing. We just put it on. Like, nobody cares.
He did it independently.
Yeah. You know, so whatever. We just put it out, and then like that. It started getting streams on there too. You know, and I remember like a few million, and then eventually 10 million and 30 million. And this is like in a span, I would say,
so fast.
In December, really, it was only on SoundCloud. It went up, but only in like February, March, I would say it went up on streaming. Like up as in like started blowing up.
Right.
You know, I would say like around March we would have like 20 million streams or something.
But I remember we went back and looked at like when he purchased the beat too, right? It was the same. It was on this December 3rd or 2nd.
Oh, was it? I mean, I don't know.
Was there something about that day? I don't know.
I don't know. It could have been bought on December 2nd and then it was on December 3rd or something.
Got it.
Yeah, that was crazy for sure.
And then it just took a life of its own.
Yeah,
really.
So like it started getting crazy streams in like around March 2019, and then that's when I really, because back then I still it was big but I didn't really know like what was going on. Like I was just like, okay, this is fire. This is 30 million streams. Like this is good for my career, but I didn't really like it didn't really hit me that like it was going to turn into something crazy, or like 30 million is already a pretty big deal.
Right.
When you come from nothing, so
no label,
no nothing,
you know, I think that's a testament to like that time period. What it introduced to the world and really showed everyone a lesson. Showed the labels all a lesson, where you can't manufacture these things. You know, these moments in history, you can't just manufacture it. Like bring an artist in and bring a songwriter in and force these like moments to happen, you know?
Yeah.
It was a true testament to when people used to laugh at me when I started BeatStars, bro.
Yeah.
In 2008, like the industry, like they used to laugh.
Yeah.
Like the industry producers, the industry labels, they're like, no, how can you make how can you make a song from a beat from the internet, like, and you know what I'm saying? Like that song taught everybody a lesson.
Yeah,
that song taught everyone
true.
a lesson.
True,
you know what I
that
mean?
is
Like it
ridiculous.
showed everyone that there's no rules to this shit.
No rules.
There's no rules, and that the internet always wins.
True that, yeah.
And collaboration and creativity, when you put it all together, like we still have, like, I was just curious to, like, why did he pick that beat? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like because you had so many fire beats on your profile at that time, but when something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, bro. Like it's written. You can't, But I'm sure, like, it changed your whole perception of the industry for sure, and the business and the politics. I can't even imagine. Like, thank God I don't have to deal with the industry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just chilling. We got this marketplace, buy and sell beats.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Talk to my lawyers if you got a clearance issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as a creator yourself that gets thrown into the monster, into the beast, the way you got thrown into,
It's crazy.
it's for a young guy like you, I'm sure it took a toll on you, like, emotionally, man. I'm sure like it took a toll on you mentally, like preparing for, like, this stardom, preparing for this, like, just like getting ready for this moment, and then all of the, like you're saying, like a bunch of people just trying to grab at you.
Yeah.
And like, just tell me a little bit about, like, what you learned through that process, man, about just the politics, the business, the industry that people could, like, maybe, take away from. I'm sure you've grown from it no matter what.
Yeah.
Nah,
I mean, I always was like, even when I was young and selling the beats, like, I always wanted to make sure my business was right, with BeatStars, we're selling it with the contract and just, protection, because
for sure.
I always had it in my head, like, what if, So I wanted to be protected and not being, like, not knowing what to do if it would happen. So I already had that, like, business.
So if that license was never in your hand, and you would have not had the leverage, I guess, in a way, to negotiate the right deal, probably, right?
I'm not sure, but it was a good,
because you
thing
didn't sell your rights away.
No, it was
That's
just a
what I'm
lease.
saying.
It was just a lease.
Yeah.
He just leased the beat. He didn't even buy the beat yet,
Right.
And then the label came around when he got signed, and I'm like, okay, we want the beat now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was crazy. But it was like a storm, man. I'm gonna be real. Like I said, I always had this, like, business mindset with, like, protecting myself. So like, whatever happened to me, I always wanted to kind of just, like, how do you call them? Like, the thing them horses have.
Yep.
Things around your eyes.
Yeah.
How do you call those?
Blinders.
Blinders, yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of just having blinders and just, okay, this is what we're going to do. I didn't really stand still by it, because if I would, it would just be too crazy. It would be too much for me, because it was so, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to see, like, let me just break it down like this. Like, 1 month I'm back home in Purmerend next to Amsterdam, which is, like, almost a town, living a modest life, just doing regular stuff, going to school. And then a month later, I'm flying jets in the U.S. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, young as hell. So it's like, it's a huge
It's tough. It's a lot.
difference, It's just a lot to deal with. But, most of it was positive. It was basically a huge positive experience, because, everybody wanted to include me in everything.
Right.
So
a lot of opportunities.
yeah, a lot of opportunities, a lot of just stuff to see, and just places to be around and experience, which was great. But yeah, also when stuff started to go, I would say, like, just labels, everyone wanted to sign you, and, like, there were, like, these independent, super rich investors that even were in my DM that were trying to buy my publishing
They were
and
trying
stuff.
to buy it out.
Yes, like, stuff like that. And also, like, because, like, back then I didn't really know, so I went in conversations with them. I didn't do anything with them. I went in
just wanna learn,
conversations,
yeah.
and they were also on some, like they were trying to really convince me that that was the best option for me, to give me
Right.
20,000 and just give all the publishing
Coming
away, and, like, knowing that I don't know what's going on, just for them to make a good deal, But I kept everything, didn't do anything.
Thank God.
Yeah, But even with them presenting me all this money, like, I was never really gonna sell, like, because I'm really a big
Yeah.
fan of like keeping
Ownership.
exactly. So I was never gonna do that. But there were like a bunch of people like trying to do that though, like managers, like lit managers, like known people that were literally trying to buy the song out for me or buy my share. Not you know what I'm saying? Which is crazy.
That shit is scary.
It's scary. And yeah, I would say never do that. I would say
Don't do that.
I don't care how much you need that money. Like ownership is what you need. Like not the quick check.
Right.
Really. Like
What did you do right away to make sure you had the right team to help protect you and make sure that you don't, you're not giving up everything? Did you, lawyers? Did you,
So what happened was like way before even anything popped off, I already knew AP, Cash Money AP.
Yeah.
I knew him
Yeah.
already, like on just making beats on the internet.
legend.
Like
The legend.
Yeah. So we were already cool before all that, and I already knew like he was already like working in the industry,
Yeah.
doing all that stuff.
because
So
he had just did his deal just like not too long before that, right? 'Cause-
So
right.
I knew him already, so I was just like, I hit him up when shit happened. I was like, yo, like, because everybody low-key just wanted to kind of like take advantage of me, like literally everyone, you know? So
Yep.
I just told him I knew producer just like me, sell beats just like me
Yeah.
from Europe, kind of like, kind of there's so much, so I was just like, I hit him up, I already knew him. And I was just on some like, yo, like, what are my next steps? Like, can you help me out with this? And then he explained everything to me, like this and that, and then he really helped me out with like, getting the right people, the right lawyer, making sure I kept everything, this and that.
Dope. Amazing.
And then still to this day, like I have all my stuff. So I'm happy it went that way. And also I'm happy I knew him too before shit popped off because, if I was really by myself, God would know what I would have done. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So,
Sure. This is the second podcast in a row. Like just in yesterday's episode, we were talking to Pilot Kid and people were trying to scam him to buy one of his beats outright too. And, like well-known managers and well-known people. And thank God he didn't do it either for his top selling beat. And he maintained ownership and kept all his publishing on it. And it's like, it happens way too frequent, man. It happens way too frequent. And I think a lot of producers young, young and don't know the business all the way through. I'm sure a lot of producers have signed something away.
Yeah,
they've done it.
Sure.
They've done it, dude.
Yeah.
And, you need that kind of representation, that protection, man, or else
you need it.
because that one mistake could have cost everything.
Yeah, it's an expensive mistake for sure.
Right.
But yeah, I'm happy everything went good though,
Yeah. And then, so you're you sign a deal, and you're thrown into the industry for real.
Yeah.
You move out to LA. Mm-hmm. And what happens next? What happens when you come out here? So now, all right, the song. Okay, say the song has hit its peak. What's happening now? Like,
So
you're working with Universal.
Yeah, well,
at the time.
at first it was there were just like a bunch of people that wanted to sign me, so I was kind of just like seeing all these labels, publishers, whatever. It was more of like, okay, what can you do for me? So I would have sessions with like a bunch of big artists, like big artists, like immediately, and I remember the first studio session I ever had was with Sway Lee, and I was in the session, I didn't even know what to do. I was just in there. And I'm just chilling, and then somebody was like, the A&R that brought me there, he was like, "You're gonna play beats or what?" And I was like, "Oh," So I plugged my computer in, started my computer up. I didn't even know how stuff went, because I really just came from just making a beat, putting it online, selling it, whatever. So that was my first my introduction, like how it really works in the studio and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was just like a bunch of labels that were trying to sign me, and like. On some like, oh, this is what we have to offer you. Like they would all like bring me to a bunch of like crazy sessions and shit, and then I kind of like went with Universal eventually.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it was just like a bunch of work, a bunch of sessions. The song was on #1 for so long. It was big for so long that it was like all these shows that I was invited to.
Yeah.
So it was just like it was a bunch going on.
And he really made you a public figure. Like he was like. Not a lot of artists were doing that.
No,
helping kind of like tell the story about the person that made the beat, the production. And so we started seeing you on magazines. We started seeing you at the red carpets. And, You know what I mean?
He really included me. I really
That's
appreciated
dope.
that for sure that he did that. I wish more people would do that because that was
right.
I mean, he realized that, like, you know, he couldn't have done it without me, and I couldn't have done it without
Sure,
him.
of
So
course,
it's real that he did that, you know.
And I think a lot of producers, you know, that produce a lot of hits, you know, they don't get that look. You know, they don't get that look and they don't get that publicity. But even then, as you were getting that publicity, I remember like talking to you, and I'm like, bro, where's the interviews at? Remember?
Yeah.
I was like, why are they not interviewing you? Why are they not talking to you? Like, you know, even then, still, like, major publications were still not trying to tell the producer story of the biggest song in music history. It was still a problem. And I think it still is a problem till today, you know? Thank God we like jumped in and were like, yo, Kio, you want to do this interview? Do that interview? And some of those stories got told, and we were doing some stuff together. That was fun. I remember that, man.
It was ages ago.
Yeah, that was some fun stuff. We were like doing interviews together and stuff. But, you know, it was like finally, you know, they woke up and they were telling your story. But after a while, it stopped happening for a lot of producers.
Yeah.
And the major publications, you know, we can call them out. Like Billboards and Rolling Stones and just everyone that has a platform that's covering art. Like, you need to start sharing the story of the beat, the person that's made the production, because their story is just as important as the artist and their lyrics. There is no hit songs without these beats. I'm sorry. I've never heard of a hit a cappella album.
Yeah, true.
You know?
But it's also like, I feel like it's very interesting for like the public to really see like the producer side in every way. Because like, I don't know, you know, Genius Deconstructed.
Yeah,
That was
great.
huge.
That was great.
They quit it, but it was a huge thing. Like every episode, like millions of views.
I know.
People really were curious, like how the songs were made from the producer side, you know? So, I agree.
But there's still not enough.
No,
you know?
definitely not.
I think that's kind of like part of the goal of this show, and is to hopefully like wake up, you know, the major publications and really be interested in your guys' like story, man. So more and more people need to be on it. Let's get into the creative process a little bit, but yes, shout out to Lil Nas X for including you. That was 100% amazing feat for doing that.
Yep.
And he even, like, in his documentary, like, I don't know, he included kind of like the story about Old Town Road in there too, which was dope, right?
Yeah, the start of everything, you know.
Let's talk about Pusha T and this Arby's commercial real quick.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I knew y'all were gonna ask for that.
Yeah. I didn't know you produced that.
Yeah, I did.
I didn't know you produced that, and that was the diss song, right?
Yeah, McDonald's.
The McDonald's
diss.
Yeah. How did it feel to be a part of that?
Because that was dope. Yeah, I liked it. It was something different for me, but I loved it.
Did you ever hear that one comedian dude? I don't know if it was a comedian or rapper, I forget his name, that did the McDonald's. He was like the Ronald McDonald. He did the response back to
Oh, really? Oh,
did you,
nah,
you didn't hear that? And that shit went viral too?
Really?
It was hilarious. It wasn't the official McDonald's response.
Yeah.
But there was a moment where, you know, that was happening. How did that come about?
Shit. So, what happened was, I was doing business with Victor. You know, I was with them. They're like, they have label management, whatever.
Yep.
But they do Pusha T.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And they do me as well. So they presented me with the opportunity. One of the A&Rs, Ben, hit me up. He was like, yo, we're doing this Arby's thing with Pusha T. Like, we need, like, some country vibes. And they were like, you're the first one we're obviously going to ask, you know, because obviously, you know. And I was like, okay, cool. So in my head, I was like, you know what I'm saying? In my head, I was like, okay, I got to kind of mix country vibes. So Western was more Westernish because of how the commercial was going to go. And then kind of like the kind of beats Pusha T would like use in his regular music, like his style almost.
Yeah.
And I would just make a few beats. I think I made like 5 beats, mixing those together and just sent the pack off. And then he was like, okay, he used this one. And it ended up being the one. And it was super cool because, you know, I fuck with Pusha T, obviously, so that was crazy being able to do that, you know?
Yeah.
All by myself, too, you know? It was like, okay, you know?
Yeah, it was like another meme moment.
Yeah,
you know?
it was crazy.
It was dope.
It was super cool. So
you know, when you look back at like what you used to make back then, and like the type of music you make now, where do you think you've kind of like changed with your sound? Like where have you gone now? Like what kind of music you making now?
I mean, it's more like dumbed down, as in like not too much going on in the beats, and also I think like just the quality of the beats have just gotten better, like mixing wise and everything. It's like really more on point. But besides that, it's kind of because like
Are you focusing on mixes yourself a lot now? Like
mixing my beats,
Mixing your
not
beats. Yeah.
not mixing
your beats.
actual
Yeah.
records. Yeah. So, I mean, it's more like I was never really a producer that like, oh, I just have like a sound or a style. That's not really how I wanted to move. Like I've done everything at this point. I've done drill songs, reggaeton, Latin music, country, hip hop, like pop music, like whatever it is, you know? So it's I don't really have like it's just all over the place all the time, you know, but it just sounds good. That's kind of how I see it. You know what I mean?
Is that how you approach things now? You're talking about like all these different genres and different sounds. Like, is that how you approach making music, where it's kind of like you just make what you're feeling at that moment, or do you go in with some kind of like direction for yourself before you get into a session for yourself?
It's just really just whatever. Like it's like maybe an artist I know, which is more an R&B artist, is working on something. I'll make a few R&B beats, and then there's this drill artist that's working on, so I'll make a few drill beats. It's just like I'll have a direction more of like, okay, what's going on? Yeah. And then I'll just get to work, you know? And even if like because I remember some beats, like I didn't even know how to make them, like the pop beats, like I didn't even know how to make those. So like I had to really like research like how they were doing their breakdowns and their patterns and all that. So to really get, because like I said, the competitiveness, I wanted to get really good at it, like looking up how to do stuff and stuff. Because I'm always a student, you know, it don't matter. I could be producing for 100 years, I'm still a student, you know.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
So, there's always something to learn.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
I remember talking to you when everything was going off big, and I was like, Kio, don't stop uploading beats online. I was like, I'm telling you, they're gonna flock to it.
I know.
You know?
I know.
You took a break.
Yeah, man.
You took a break, and then we recently talked, and you're like, hey, but I want to get back in. I want to start dropping stuff for the people. I want to start working with more independent artists. I want to start feeding the streets a little bit again, going back to your roots. What kind of like inspired that for yourself to,
I mean, it's more like just the industry in general, how it's like set up. It's kind of like, I don't really like the way it goes for me personally. It's just more like there's these albums that are being made, and then you either send packs or you're in a session and playing beats or making songs, and it's like, it's really on some like, how do you say it? Like I make 100 songs and one of them comes out. That's really like the ratio. You know what I'm saying? So I have, you would not even know what kind of songs I'm sitting on. Like some big stuff. Right. But it's just not coming out. I don't have right now the capability of putting it out myself. So I'm just sitting on these songs, and it's kind of like
frustrating.
Very frustrating. And it's just like, okay, you know, I can make 15 songs with this artist, but I don't even know if one of them going on the album. You know what I'm saying? So like when it comes to selling beats, like they're gonna buy the beat and use it. Like, you know what I mean? So
you're
it's
gonna
like,
hear something.
Yeah. So it's like, and it's also like, you know, smaller artists, when they're like upcoming or whatever, they're also like easier to work with, as in like, you know, like they'll listen to you and and stuff.
They'll take
like,
direction.
They'll
from
take
you.
direction.
Like right now, they probably want your advice. They want to be able to get your, you know, get your feedback on their music, their lyrics, their songs, their arrangement. They'd be like, oh, this guy's, you know.
Yeah, I like that though. I like that when they're like that.
You like having that role, like teaching other young people, kind of like giving them direction on song making.
Some session the vibe is like that. Some sessions they're like on some like, oh, I'll just, you know what I'm saying? They'll just do their own thing, which is fine too, but you know.
So you talk about like, you know, the whole sessions, moving out to LA, 1 out of 100 stuff, you know, happens, and you're not salty about the industry, but you feel like it's not set up for like someone like you that's an entrepreneur that really wants to get things done, that really wants to be hands-on, that really wants to control their destiny. And a lot of producers, you know, they come out here thinking that, all right, I'm going to stop my own business selling beats online, and I'm going to move out to LA, and I'm going to get into all these sessions, and I'm going to schmooze myself into all these situations, and eventually I'm gonna be discovered, or a song is gonna be made.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would you say to those producers that give it all up to come into, you know, a big city like LA, big music industry city, and they get engulfed in it, man. They get lost in it. Sometimes for years, right? And no opportunities are happening, and nothing's moving out for them. What kind of advice would you give them?
Well, first of all, I would say if you are like selling beats, is going very good, and then you want to come out here and give it a shot over here, like don't stop selling beats. Like keep doing it. Like, you know, keep that going. Like, you know, why would you stop something that is good? I fucked up. I stopped, but I wish I didn't. But, you know, like that's, you know, that's one. And also like for producers out here, man, if you come out here, like what I really see is like, I'm gonna be honest, a lot of producers can make good beats. Like every session, if I have a session with multiple producers, a lot of producers that make good beats. So like being good at making beats or being really nice is just not like the best selling point for you. And it's like what I really see is like you have to really, really be like insane for you to really stand out. Like there's producers that still, you know, do the trap beats or whatever. They're insane with it. Like I'm talking about like they play multiple instruments, make great beats, they can engineer, they can do everything. Like that's because like we're talking about sessions with the top of the top. Like you're the biggest artist. You're in the studio with the biggest, and you know what I'm saying? So it's like you're with the best. Like you gotta be the best. Like you know what I mean? So it's like those people are the ones that because I'm in so many sessions. The people that I remember are the people that are like super skilled, that can do everything, that play everything and do everything. So if you are, what I would suggest to people that are, if you're working or you want to really get out here, like try to really maximize your skills. And I'm talking about play keys, play guitar, all that, because there's a lot of times where there's a session and it's like, oh, we need somebody to play guitar. I don't play guitar, so I'm like, shit, not me. But if you can, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
so like, the more skill sets you have, the more valuable you are in the studio.
Yeah, but that's like, I feel like that's almost in every, you can apply that everywhere on the planet. Like the more skills you have. So I would really try to like, you know.
You'll be called on more.
Yeah, maximize your skills. If you are a one-stop shop, if you can engineer, mix, master, play instrument, make fire beats, you're a good vibe in the studio, you're talented, you know how to market your social media. If you have everything, like I feel like there's, all you need is the grind, and then you are gonna guarantee get there, like 100%.
So some of these sessions were intimidating. There was some really talented people.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen some crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's not like intimidating.
Is there like producers like people that don't even know their names? They're just
super
talented in the room.
Yeah, definitely. And they're just in there, just doing their thing.
Quiet.
Quiet and
killers.
Literally. Yeah. And that amazes me, you know, if I see somebody that just does all that, like plays the piano like crazy, then picks up a guitar, and then picks up a flute, and then a trumpet, and then I'm just like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
I was like, you ready for my drums, everybody?
Yeah. When you need the drums, just let me know. Like, you know what I mean? But it's crazy.
Yeah,
like
that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of producers they get caught up thinking, oh, I don't need to learn an instrument, or I don't need to learn how to, you know, compose in terms of like play chords, or just like learn music theory and you know, sure, you can get away with
it's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
No,
but you do have maybe a little bit big advantage in certain situations.
Yeah, let's say in in-person situations, like the sessions, you're gonna have more advantage. Like if you just, because there's a lot of producers that just send beats or maybe just send loops or samples.
Right.
It doesn't really matter because you can be in your own home and really just comfortably, just, you know, like do whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're really in a room, like you might have pressure, like, you know, when you have, sometimes they want to cook up from scratch. Yeah. I've been in sessions where like, you know, cook up from scratch, motherfuckers be impatient and stuff, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but I'm, you know, me personally, I can cook up a beat pretty quickly, but if you're not that type of person, like, you know.
No one has the patience to wait.
Yeah, there's like, people be impatient sometimes.
Is there any up and coming producers that you've kept an eye on? Like, they're like, man, this dude is super dope.
I mean.
Is there anybody that you're checking out?
I mean, I've messed with my boy Rod for sure. ROTT. Crazy. Yeah. That's really like the main guy that I've been working with and looking at, and I think he's gonna be big. You know.
Nice. All right,
Yeah.
listen, we're gonna get into some music. We're gonna play some of the stuff on Spotify that you produced too.
Okay.
And I kind of want I want to play one of that Megan song.
Okay, cool.
And I want to. Well, first I'm gonna take you back in time.
I'm
gonna take you back in time. This is 2018. 2018.
Oh God.
This is your biggest selling beat in BeatStars on BeatStars. It's called Cobra.
Yeah, I remember that. That was big.
It's still available.
Yeah, true.
It's still available.
Wait a minute.
And I want you to kind of break down how you, if you remember where you were when you. Let me start it from the beginning. Hold on. Still got the old school BeatStars tag on it too. Not even the YoungKio tag on this one.
I think my tag is on there too. It should be.
Oh, is it?
It should be.
This is
Or
throwback. I don't think so.
Oh, nah. I mean, it should be. It should be because I was always using that tag. But damn, that
Some keys
shit.
here. You got some keys?
Yeah. I remember that. That's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Yeah.
Those classic drums.
Yeah.
Do you remember where you were when you made this one?
I was in the attic, man.
In the attic?
All my beats back then, I was working in the attic for real. But
it was simple.
Yeah. I
Like-
realized that. Yeah, it was this because this one sold a bunch. you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. So
Was this one of those beats that kind of like made you kind of like believe that, oh shit, this is
yeah, because this one really went up because like it went up on YouTube.
right?
That's really it has like 500,000 views on YouTube, and then it like translates also
Yeah,
back to
yeah, of
BeatStars,
course.
you know.
Yeah.
So
So it was a big one on YouTube. It went viral on YouTube too.
yeah.
Dope.
It's just one of the random beats I was making. I was just knocking the beats out. This was just a random beat. Didn't think anything. Just uploaded it and boom. You know, that's always how I used to work. You know.
And then I checked the other two top sellers. It looked like those were sold exclusively, so those were gone. Someone got them. I don't know where they are. But then this one I remember as well had a moment on BeatStars because I remember the artwork. I think it was like Travis Scott's artwork. I don't know whose artwork it is. Yeah, it was Travis Scott's artwork, and it's called Immortal. And
Okay.
this one, you remember this one?
Yeah, it's also like it's old, man. I'm already like 5,000 beats further, but I do remember them though. You know.
But this one had a moment too on the platform.
Yeah.
This one's still. I like this one.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna buy this one.
All right,
This
go
one's for
ahead,
me.
Please,
This one's for me.
please,
This
go
one's
ahead.
for me. Yeah, come on. I still fuck with this one, dude. Anyway, I wanted to bring you back in time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's
because I can't wait to hear the new stuff that you're gonna bring to the platform.
Yeah, nah,
And-
this is I can tell this is long time ago,
right.
man. This is
right, but it was the beginning parts of your journey.
No, but super
And-
fun to listen to the beats like from so long ago and like
I mean,
now.
this era was when your biggest songs were made. Like you
Yeah.
really think about it. So it's like this era, these beats. I don't
Yeah.
know. They're still special to me. I like.
No, for sure, for sure.
And then we've got this this anthem. It was an anthem from Meg.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to hear how this one came.
I don't care if these bitches
Oh yeah,
don't
that's
like
like
me.
that's like the
Crazy,
pop
like,
vibe we
pretty as
did.
fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the other day, I heard a hoe say, matter of fact, what could a hoe
Did you-
say with a face like this and a bitch
Did you
this
custom make this in a session, or was this you already had the kind of the beat ready and you shot, got it to
Okay,
her?
so what happened with this song? So we were cooking up for Cardi B. Actually, there was like an opportunity for Cardi B, and we were in a session just making beats, and we were like, okay, like we can make trap beats, whatever, but we gotta come with something different, like something just very unique, you know. So we made this beat for her. We gave it to the A&R, and for Cardi, obviously, and then never heard from it again. And then months later, I was in Amsterdam. Actually, I was back home to see my family, and at 3 a.m. I get a phone call, like a multi FaceTime call with all the producers on it, or you know what I'm saying? And she was like, the A&R Simone, she was like the one that was supposed to get it to Cardi.
Yeah.
She hit me up and she was like, oh, well, Megan heard, because we did it with a writer, with a reference on it.
Got it. Oh, you had a reference on it.
Yeah, there was a
Okay.
reference on it, and she was like, well, Megan didn't really like the reference, but she loved the beat, and she wants the beat.
Sick.
And I was like, okay, and she was like, it's gonna be on her next album,
It's
and it's gonna
super
be the lead
dancey.
single.
It's super
and I was
dancey.
like, yeah.
It was her lead single.
Yeah, with the music video, and then
Yeah.
they performed that Good Morning America and stuff.
Yeah, I
and
remember that.
They said at the beginning that Lizzo was gonna be on it, but that never happened. But I was just like, okay, like this is fire, you know? That like moments like that give you like a lot of motivation. Like, okay, yeah, this is fire. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is.
I'm just curious, kind of like, you know, to have another moment like that. You know, another moment of success. You know, and you've had a few already, right? Like, you know, you had the Polo G and NLE Choppa song, Jumpin'
Chulo.
Papi Chulo.
Yeah.
So you've had like multiple moments, you know, for your music. Did that help give you even more confidence? Because everyone kept associating you with just Old Town Road,
still
you know
to
what
this
I mean?
day,
Still,
I feel like in my entire career, I'm not gonna even. It's just
You're never gonna escape it.
unavoidable,
Yeah,
you know. So
yeah,
it's
never gonna escape it.
I learned to just deal with it, but yeah, it's like moments like that make me like, okay, I'm not just that producer. Like I can do everything. I work with everyone. I can make a good song with everyone, you know. So, you know.
Do you have any plans to work with Lil Nas X again? Is there any? Have you guys? I'm sure you guys got other stuff.
I mean, we used to work like a bunch around that time but like I haven't really worked with him.
No,
you know, not really. No.
He's taking a different direction in terms of sound. In terms of his sound.
Yeah. So yeah, man, you know, he do his thing.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
Might need like
you know.
Old Town Road 2, like a kind of like a, you know, I don't know, second version of it. But you know, you talked a little bit about, you know, really being kind of like having that executive producer role, you know, really working with young artists. Do you ever see yourself kind of like, you know, really producing for a few artists and signing them and helping them put out their music?
Oh hell
and
yeah!
Starting a label for yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah?
I do want to do it. I'm just like really looking for talent right now, you know. And I'm, you know, nowadays it's like also it's you know, with TikTok coming up, it's also like it's really different the music industry, you know, because like artists come up and they just fall down real quick just because TikTok like blows them up super quick and then that's it. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Yeah, like, you know, looking for talent, not as easy as it sounds, but when I do find someone, I do definitely want to, you know, like and then create a label. I'm also like, I already have kind of like my business in the industry. It's called Omega Create. It's right now it's just drum kits for producers, free. It's like it's a website, omega-create.com. Right now it's free products, but eventually, you know, it's going to be more content on that. And I want to build that out eventually to also be the label that I stand behind and, you know, for creative. So I'm working on it, but step by step, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Amazing, man.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that, you know, you're putting stuff back up on the internet, drum kits, getting back with these artists.
Yeah.
And, you know, excited about the future.
Yeah.
I mean, artists, you heard him. He's looking. Hit him.
Yeah,
like,
please. Hey, if you go to my Instagram,
yeah,
my email is in my Instagram bio. There's like
Yeah.
a big email button. Send me whatever. Flood me with music. I don't care. Just send me music. Like I want to hear everything.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Is there any other topics you wanna touch on?
I mean, shit. Like we kind of covered everything. I do want to say, like, you know, like I feel like for producers, like in the industry, like I still feel like even if you're like in the industry, like I feel like you're not really as treated as well as also like the way, you know, when you get paid and stuff like that takes so like you would know, you know, like
Of course.
I just, you know, always thought that's wrong, you know what I'm saying? I kind of think it's just bullshit that it has to go that way. And also like, you know, production credits getting fucked up and it just happens so often, man. Like a good example is like, let's say I go to Spotify and an album comes out and I go to the credits and it says produced by Dash. It's just
Empty.
a dash, empty, you know what I'm
Empty.
saying? And it's just like, if everybody just did their job right, which is really not that much to ask for,
Right.
the producer would have gotten credit. And credit is like, if you don't have a producer tag, credit is all you got.
I know.
All you got
I
is
know.
credit, you know? And then they even mess that up. So I always get hot. You know, I had that song that just came out, not just came out, but the last song I did was with Greedo, 03 Greedo. I pulled up on him, played like 2 beats. Second beat, he messed with it super heavy, made a song. And like 2 days later, his manager was like, okay, we want to put it out. And then a week later, they put it out. And before it got put out, I got paid. And I was like, I've never in my entire career had it happen like this.
Amazing.
Ever. You know what I'm saying?
What label's he on?
I think it's Alamo.
Alamo,
But it was
okay.
crazy because I was like, okay, damn, this is a first for me,
This
you
is
know,
new.
which is
This is
ridiculous because you're
Yeah.
supposed to get paid before
Right,
the song
right.
gets put out. But also with that situation, you know, like the credits were
Yeah.
empty. So I had to like, you know, hit people up like, yo, what's going on? Like
Yeah.
credits empty, like let's get it
Yeah,
fixed.
yeah.
And they got it fixed, but it's like I got to initiate, otherwise nothing is gonna happen. I feel like stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like stuff that already needs to happen. Producers
Bro,
need to get it paid
every
on
day.
time. They need their credit. It is not that hard. It really is not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the producer disrespect is out of hand.
You know what I mean? It's
And
just-
like it's 2024. Like, you know, it's crazy. We've been dealing with it forever, right? The
Yeah.
credits, the ownership, the publishing, the, you know, labels just putting stuff out and not paying the producers, or, you know, no master points, no publishing points. And it just got to the point where it's like, oh my God, man, it's just happening so frequent. And producers just hit us up via email and say, hey guys, I produced this massive song. I don't know what to do, you know? And it kept happening. Like we helped clear over like $27 million worth of royalties in the background. You know, songs like Gooba from 6ix9ine, David's Here With Me, and Romantic Homicide. Like, we're helping the producers get their ownership and credit. And so the legal team at BeatStars, shout out to Kyle and Irfan and Greg and Mike, put together this whole new business plan called Creator Rights Agency. And I thought it was brilliant, man. It's an on-demand, like, service. You don't have to sign a contract. You don't have to, like, get in bed for long periods of time for anything. Or it's a one-off situation. If you need a lawyer, or if you need any like management services or accounting services, you need us to go collect your money from the label, or go get anything cleared for you. You keep 100% of your rights, all your ownership. We will launch an official service. So we have an official service now at BeatStars that's just fighting for people's credits 24/7.
Yeah.
We've been doing it in the background. No one knows we've been doing it because producers, they look at us kind of like as, you know, home team. So
Yeah,
like if
yeah.
BeatStars is not going to look out for them, who's going to look out for them? So, and to afford lawyers and to afford, bro,
Gets crazy.
It gets crazy. And so
a lot of back and forth too.
so we're doing it no cost.
Yeah.
No cost. And yeah, so I'm so proud of the guys for doing that, because it's just like constantly happening throughout the industry, and it's got to stop. And I think we're getting close, man. I feel like we're having these kind of conversations with the bigger labels and even like the independent labels, and they want to create a system. You know, they want to create a much easier system to get people paid, get people credited, but it's gonna have to take a group effort from everyone to like be
Yeah.
on board. So hopefully we can push the industry to kind of respect it, and
Yeah.
maybe we can develop a direct line to, you know, with the Spotifys of the world or with anyone in the world. Like if we have verified credits, like respect our credits. We're gonna send you some information, put that and change the credits on those songs. You know what I
But
mean?
it's so crazy because
Yeah.
what you're explaining is like that. It's just fairness. You
It's
know what
just
I'm saying? That's all you're
regular
asking for.
business.
It's just regular. Like it's not even. And you know, like we need so many people on board and stuff. Like
Yeah.
this should already be
I know.
the standard.
I
You know.
But
So this is-
we gotta go take it.
I know.
No
I
one's
know.
gonna give it to us.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
know. It's
If
important.
we don't force it, it's never gonna change. You know?
Yeah.
So it's gonna take guys like you fighting for it, you know, making
Yeah.
sure your team is always on top of it for all of your songs. And like
Yeah.
it should not be like a weird thing to have an artist like O3 Greedo like pay you up front for your beat and then cool, and it's like good business. Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like that should not be like a paranormal event.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I was like, damn, that was really good. I was like, okay, you know,
Yeah.
like good business.
That's
I love
dope.
it, you know.
Shout out to all the artists that do good business.
Yeah,
There's a
no,
lot
definitely,
of them. There's a lot of them,
definitely.
you know?
Definitely.
We gotta
Yeah,
take care of those guys too.
for sure.
You know, Kio, man, it's been a real pleasure and honor to sit down with you, bro. I've been waiting for
Yes.
this moment for a long time, and thank God we're both in good health to talk about your journey,
Yeah,
your challenges, your experiences, and I think the community is gonna like learn so much from your experience, because they really like you're kind of like the poster child for them, you know?
yeah. I mean, the story
know?
was literally crazy, you know. I just
And it could happen to anybody.
Literally, yeah. I'm just saying, like, this is, hey, put out your work. I don't care if you have to upload 5 beats a day, whatever. Like, you got to put your work out. You can make the best beats, but if they're just sitting on your computer, nothing is going to happen. The only way what happened to me is because I consistently put stuff out in the internet, in the open, and that's the only way. Like, make sure your stuff is heard, and people will catch on 100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The business stuff will work itself out. Just
literally
get your music out there.
Yeah.
It's step number 1. Mm-hmm. Brother, thank you so much.
Yeah, let me give you, let me do a few shout outs. Obviously, shout out to Abe, shout out to the BeatStars team. I want to shout out my man's AP, obviously, for always staying solid through all these years, you know. I want to say shout out to my boy Lumascu. That's the guy who gave me FL Studio. He's producing, making beats too now. So, you know, I want to shout out my boy Rod, ROTT. Fire producer, you know, I work with. He's about to be literally the greatest. So I just wanted to give these people some love.
I'm interviewing Cash Money AP tomorrow.
Okay.
Is there anything specific you want me to hit him up with? Any crazy stories that you guys have been through together?
I mean, there's a bunch of stuff we have experienced, but some of them I don't
anything
think
crazy. Okay, maybe he doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, let's not put that on camera. Type crazy. Yeah.
No, shout out to AP and shout out to Kio. Best of luck in the future, bro.
Thank you.
You got this. I can't wait to see what comes out next for you.
For sure. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. And that's Pay the Creators episode, legendary episode with my guy YoungKio, the biggest stream producer in the music history, and the hard work is a testament to everything he's done. So that's a wrap. Peace. Like and subscribe on YouTube.